Hello, this is Lora Cheadle, and Eventbrite crashed on me, which was 100% not helpful, and I still cannot access it. So apologies that the link didn't get in. We just did a webinar with the people who were able to get in, but what I wanted to do was hop on and just recreate some of that so I could send it out to you. And yes, I will send you the hypnosis and the files as well. As you know, I am Lora Cheadle. I am an attorney and betrayal recovery coach, and I've also been through infidelity and betrayal. So I know exactly what it is like to have intrusive thoughts. And it hurts and it stinks because you can't do anything. You feel like you're going crazy. You feel like you can't manage your own thoughts. You can't stay in the present moment because you're always back there in the past or way in the future trying to figure out what's going on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get you your brain back. We're going to get you your sanity back. And I'm going to teach you exactly what to do to have freedom from those intrusive thoughts. So you can start reading, sleeping, working, enjoying, and living life again. The very first question is, whenever you have an intrusive or obsessive thought, ask yourself, is this thought helpful or is it habitual? Is this thought helpful or habitual? There's different things to do if it's helpful than if it's habitual. Most of us have habitual obsessive thoughts. So I'm going to start with the helpful ones because that's a little bit faster and easier. If the thought is helpful, it means it's your brain telling you there's something more here. There's something you're missing. It's like foreshadowing in a book or a movie. When you're like, that was an interesting little detail. I wonder why that was there. It's your brain saying, pay attention. You're missing something. It's your intuition saying, listen to this. Think this through. Does this really make sense? So that's where I want you to start. Is it helpful? Dig deeper. If it's helpful, you need to dig deeper. You need to uncover, what is this thought trying to tell me? What is this thought trying to tell me about myself, the situation, or another person? Is this thought trying to tell me that I'm abandoning myself, that I'm ignoring red flags? Is this thought trying to tell me to pay more attention to something, to figure out next steps? Is this thought trying to get me to look at the situation differently? Or is this thought trying to help me learn something about the other person? What is this thought trying to tell me? Then I've got some questions. I'll give you this worksheet. Use some journaling to uncover and understand what this thought is trying to tell you. Often our obsessive thoughts are there to keep us safe, to keep us from getting hurt again. When that's the case, you can thank that thought. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. Thank you for protecting me. But I've got this, so I don't need you. You can go. Or, and what do I need to do to stay safe? And what's next? If you identify there is a thought here and its purpose is to keep me safe, then what do I need to do to stay safe? I'm a big proponent of writing things down. So you can write down, what is this thought trying to do? It's trying to keep me safe. Great. What do I need to do to stay safe? And then you can have your list. Find out more information about. Ask these 4 questions. Contact an attorney and find out about divorce in my state. Meet with a financial planner. you'll have those steps and then you'll have them written down. So you know, this thought is trying to keep me safe. In order to stay safe, I need information, I need support, I need questions answered, and then you have it written down. It's kind of like when you wake up in the middle of the night and your thoughts are racing. If you write them down, they're memorialized. They're memorialized. So then you can relax because you know they are there and you know you can return to them in the morning. So write down, what is this thought here for? What's it trying to do? What's it trying to tell me? Because when you know what it's there for, what it's trying to tell you, then you can figure out what you need to do. And it's a helpful thought. And then you can let it go because, yay, thank you, you've been helpful. Regarding intuition, your thought might be there to be like, there's more here. Great. How can I tune into myself more? How can I listen to my heart? How can I listen to my gut? How can I get out of my head and into my body so I can figure this out? Those are helpful, intrusive thoughts. Now, on the other hand, if your intrusive thought is not helpful, by default, it's habitual. It's habitual. The way to get rid of a habitual thought is through a combination of cognitive restructuring and hypnosis. Cognitive restructuring is just like what it sounds. It's cognitive. It's in your brain. Hypnosis is in the subconscious portion of your brain. So when you cognitively restructure something up here, it's a conscious action. And then when you use the hypnosis, it's a subconscious action, which allows you to use your entire brain's capacity to move forward and heal. And that's what we're going to do today. All right. And one of the things I'm going to give you is a cognitive restructuring worksheet, as well as a bunch of other goodies. When you're trying to cognitively restructure a thought, a habitual thought, the very first thing you need to do is identify what that thought is. Usually the reason we get so locked in is because we have this conglomeration of thoughts. We have this whole thing about how bad it is, how unfair it is, how this, how that, how hurtful, how it impacts us, how it impacts the kids, how I've been, all of these thoughts. Restructure by separating those apart. Okay, I'm hurt because he had sex. I'm hurt because he lied. I'm hurt because he said he loved her. I'm hurt because she was half my age. I'm really stressed out that the sex was better with somebody else. I can't believe I didn't see this. I can't believe I tried so hard and was so unappreciated. I can't get over how this feels. There's all of these thoughts. Separate them. The example that I always give is if you've ever traveled with necklaces and they get all tangled up in there, if you start pulling on the necklaces, it only tightens the knots more. And then you can never get them separated. What helps is loosening, softening, finding one necklace chain, pulling that one chain out, then finding another chain, untangling that. And then pretty soon you're like, oh, the whole wad of necklaces has been untangled. This is perfect. So that's what you're doing with obsessive thoughts. You're untangling them one at a time, and you're managing one thought at a time. Step 2, after you're starting to untangle, is you're examining the evidence. I'm a lawyer. I like evidence. You're examining both supportive evidence and contradictory evidence to each thought. And again, slow down. Slow way down. Do this one at a time. One thought. He said he loved her. He lied to me. He had sex with whatever. Identify the supporting evidence. Yes, my partner did lie. Yeah, my partner did tell somebody else he loved her. Yes, I have been hurt. Yes, I can't quit crying. Supporting evidence. Yes, this is true. This is true. This is true. And while you might be wondering, why are we talking about supportive evidence? That's just more hurtful. The truth of the matter is sometimes we have obsessive thoughts as a way to validate our own pain. Sometimes we have obsessive thoughts as a way to validate our own pain. Because we will live in a world where people are like, get over it already. Or our partner, to help them with their guilt, is like, can't you just move on? Can't you just trust me and move on? And we're still hurt. We had talked about this. Like when you have an external wound, it's easy to see, and other people can be like, oh, you're still bruised. Oh, you're still on crutches. Oh, you're still in a cast. When they're internal wounds, other people tend to forget about them. Other people totally forget about them. And they're like, yeah, shouldn't you be over that by now? Because in their world, things have moved on. So sometimes obsessive thoughts are there to validate your own pain. And that's why it's important to look for that supporting evidence so you can validate your own pain. He did lie to me. I did try so hard and I was totally used and abused. I tried and I got hurt. He did cheat. He did lie. He did use marital funds, whatever it is. Validate. Look for that supportive evidence to your thought. You are not an irrational being. That's what I really want you to know. You are not irrational. So validate. What is important to validate in those thoughts? And then the next step in that is looking for that contradictory evidence. If the obsessive thought is, it's my fault, I should have known, why didn't I do things better? Contradictory evidence might be, cheating is a choice. I did not cause my partner's cheating. This is not my fault. Contradictory evidence to somebody telling her he loved her might be, he felt pressured into it. She was trying to make the relationship deeper and he got pressured into it. Contradictory evidence might be any number of things, but what's contradictory about that? What is not true about the thought that you're having? Supporting evidence is, I was hurt. Contradictory evidence might be, I've been hurt before and I've healed. I'm not going to stay hurt forever. So that's that examining the evidence. You do a 360-degree view where you're examining the evidence all around, looking at the evidence. What's right? What's wrong? What's questionable about it? And then step 1 is identifying, breaking it down, identifying each part of the obsessive thought. Number 2 is examining the evidence, both supporting and contradictory. Step 3 is challenging your thoughts, challenging the validity of your thoughts. Is this thought based on fact or feeling? I feel hurt. Is that a fact or is that a feeling? Is there a more rational way to view this situation? And what would I tell a friend who had this thought? So examples around that. Is it fair for me to blame myself for somebody else's actions? Is it fair for me to go around feeling like this? Have I ever trusted somebody again after being hurt? Have I ever healed before? Have I ever been through something difficult? Challenge your thoughts. I can't get over this. Really? Can you really not get over this? Is there a scenario where you could get over this? Is there something else you've gotten over? Challenge your thoughts. Is this really true? Is it really true that I'm broken? That's such a big one. People are always like, I'm broken. Is that really true? Is it really true that you're broken now, or is it really true that you're broken forevermore? Is it really true that he didn't love me then? Could it also be that he loved you, but that he was in such an affair fog that he was so confused that he also took other actions? So often we want to make cheating about us because we're in a rational state of mind. Cause, impact. We're thinking about things from a rational point of view. When somebody is so hurt and so unable to identify what it is they're feeling, and they have an affair, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about getting their pain managed. They're thinking about themselves. They are in a completely selfish state. They are in a complete different brainwave state, and you end up being collateral damage. They're not thinking about you. I want you to think about a time you made a mistake. Usually you're not thinking about the worst possible outcome. Usually you're thinking about all the positive things. And then you realize, oh, that was bad. I have talked to many people who have said, I had a glass of wine with dinner and then I drove. Because they're thinking, I had a glass of wine with dinner and I drove. But if you think about that from the whole other side, you consciously and intentionally drank and then drove. So if an accident happens, you're not going to say, I chose to drink and I chose to drive, which you did. You chose to drink and you chose to drive. You're going to say, I thought it was fine. I thought it was one glass of wine. I thought it was with dinner. I thought it was 2 hours later. I thought it was fine. I wasn't thinking about a drunk driving incident. And yet you drove after drinking. And that's that disconnect that happens so often with people who cheat. They're thinking about the best possible scenario, that it kind of makes sense, that nobody's ever going to find out, that this is going to help me feel better, that I'm solving my problem in this way and nobody's ever going to know. So nobody's going to get hurt. They're not thinking they're not setting out to go hurt you. They're not waking up one day saying, I'm going to go hurt my partner. They wake up not thinking about that. They wake up feeling in pain and confused and a fragile ego. And over time, having an affair seems like something that they do that's going to make them feel better. They are not consciously setting out to hurt you. So challenge those thoughts. Is it true that my partner truly set out to hurt me? Probably not. Probably not. Step 4. Step 1 is untangle, identify. Step 2 is examine all the evidence. Step 3 is challenge that thought. Is this really true? Step 4 is replace that thought with a balanced thought. And this is more than just an affirmation. This is about the good and the bad all in one thought. Here's what I mean by that. Here's an example. While my partner's infidelity hurt me deeply, it wasn't my fault, and I have the strength to heal and rebuild trust over time. Why this is more powerful than just an affirmation, it's not my fault. I have the strength to rebuild over time. It acknowledges your pain. While my partner's infidelity hurt me, while this wasn't fair, while I have spent the last 6 months feeling totally broken and inept, you're acknowledging your pain. I still have the strength to rebuild. I have the ability to get help. I have a great support system. I am in therapy. I am working with a coach. I am doing all of these different things, and I can. Even though my partner's infidelity hurt me deeply, I still know it wasn't about me. Even though my partner took action that hurt me, I know it wasn't about me. And I am taking care of myself and allowing myself to heal. That is a balanced thought. You're balancing the bad and how you feel with what you're capable of doing and what's real in this situation. Even though my partner said he loved her and it destroyed my soul, I know that he was in an affair fog. I know that he felt pressured into it. I know that those feelings of infatuation or limerence have nothing to do with the depth of our relationship and the family and the life that we created for all of those years together. I know that was what was real. I know that what we shared was real love. You're balancing both sides and you're replacing your obsessive thoughts with something that's true, because our bodies know the truth. Our minds know the truth. And sometimes when we're too much into affirmations, it's too woo-woo, and our mind is like, reject, because that's not true. Reject, because that's not validating me. So that is how to cognitively reprogram, reprocess your brain. Now, the second part of that is the hypnosis. The brain, the mind, is about 10% conscious and is about 90% subconscious or unconscious. So that means whatever you cognitively reprogram up here, you're doing it with about 10% of your brain's power. 10% is not a lot. And then you have 90% that's habitual. That's the operating system that your body is running on. So if you have 90% of your brain telling you to focus and be obsessive, and you have 10% of your brain telling you to move on and be conscious and thoughtful about it, what part do you think is going to win? The 90%. That's why we get stuck in a loop down here and we can't break free. The example that I like to give is watershed on a mountain. If you have a smooth mountain and a blob of snow, it's going to melt equally down all sides. In real life, based on the structure of the mountain, grooves happen and more of the watershed gets funneled to one side. And then it starts off as a little shallow groove. And then erosion happens and the root groove gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon you have a river. And pretty soon that watershed is going down this huge river halfway across the country. The more you think a thought, the deeper that groove is. Every time you have a thought, it's carving it deeper, it's carving it deeper, it's carving it deeper. So if you're on top of a mountain and you want to change that watershed and there's a really deep groove, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some effort. Cognitively reprocessing is 10% of the effort. So 10% you're saying, divert the water this way. And you're creating a little track, a 10% deep track. We've got a 90% deep track over here, 10% track over here. Sure, some of that water is going to trickle down, but it's still going to go here, and that groove is still going to keep being deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The hypnosis helps you divert that 90% over here so you can start building a deeper groove over here, and this groove is going to start shrinking. Does it take effort? Yes, it still takes effort. But it's a lot easier using the hypnosis to bring that 90% of the subconscious on board so you can divert those obsessive thoughts. Now, the reason we're not just starting with hypnosis is because it takes that cognitive reprocessing. So when you do the hypnosis, you're dealing with one thought at a time. You're reformatting, reworking the operating system, and you're dealing with one thing at a time. You're not overwhelming your system. Change is hard. We are creatures of habit. We can't change everything at once. It'll never last. One thought, he loved her. One thought, he had sex with her. One thought, the sex was better. One thought, I am broken. One thing at a time. Because when you're aware of what you're shifting, you know where you're at and you know where you're going. Instead of we're just moving this direction randomly. I'm going to give you a hypnosis, but I also want to talk a little bit about what hypnosis does and why it works, why it works. You start a hypnosis session by relaxing, by getting out of the brain and moving into the body. So you can feel those sensations in the body, so you can slow the thoughts. When you slow the thoughts, they're a lot easier to direct. You clear the mind, you slow the thoughts. You don't totally stop the thoughts. Nobody's thoughts stop, even when they're asleep. You slow them down, you get into the body, not the mind. And then you can imagine, visualize, or pretend that you are writing your obsessive thought on a chalkboard. I was so abused. He hurt me so much. I'm totally broken. I can't believe she was younger, thinner, prettier, blah, blah, whatever it is. Write it all down. Then calm yourself again, because that should create some anxiety. Find that anxiety in your body. Calm, breathe. And then in your mind's eye, you can see yourself erasing those thoughts. Just like on an old chalkboard, erasing them. And then see yourself writing that new balanced thought. You can even take your hand up and start writing that new thought. While my partner's infidelity hurt me, I am capable of rebuilding self-trust. I am learning how to. And then read that sentence again in your mind's eye. And calm the body and feel the peace around the truth of that statement. And the hypnosis that I'm going to give you has got some delete, like you've got some buttons and you're going to delete it. But this is something you can do for yourself. This is a way to do the self-hypnosis. Relax, write it down, erase it, write something new, feel that peace. And then open your eyes and move into the rest of your day. Now, the very last thing that I want to say is identifying those feelings in your body. If you've been listening to me, you know I am really big on feeling things in your body. When you have an obsessive thought, tune into your body. Where is that thought? Does it make your throat tight? Does it make your gut clench? Does it make your heart shut down? Does it make your eyes bulge? Does it make your head hurt? Where is that obsessive thought in your body? Take it out. Throw it away. Brush it off. Do something physically. Shake, stomp, wah, wah. Do something to get that obsessive thought like out. There we go. Of your head. Physicalize it and remove it. Physicalize it, remove it. So those are my tips on how to stop obsessive thoughts, how to take back your brain, your body, your mind, your heart, all of that stuff. Going back to the beginning, just to recap. Question number 1, most important, is this helpful or habitual? If it's helpful, you're figuring out what you need to know, what questions you need to ask, what support you need to line up for yourself. You're figuring out what to do. It's a to-do list. A helpful thought helps create a to-do list so you can take action to protect yourself. If it's also just helpful, in keeping you safe. Oh, you're there to try to keep me safe. Thank you. Thank that thought. Thank you for being here. I've got this. Thank you for making me aware. I've got this. Thank that thought. Because once you thank it, it's been acknowledged and it'll leave. That's when thoughts are helpful. When they're habitual, use the cognitive restructuring to identify supporting contradictory evidence, challenge that thought, and then restructure it. And then use the hypnosis to anchor that into your subconscious, and use the somatic processing to anchor it into your body. Now, I re-recorded this because of the whole Eventbrite snafu. Thumbs down on that. So you probably have questions. Reach out to me. Lora at loracheadle.com. I'm sending this to you. Hit reply. Ask your questions. Let me help you through this. I am here to help you. Let me help you through this. I will answer the questions on this webinar. You should have been here live. If it wasn't for the whole Eventbrite snafu, you would have been here live. So ask me questions and let me help you one-on-one. You get kind of a bonus, actually. Maybe it was good that there was a snafu because now you get this bonus. One of the things that I talked about with the people who were able to get on live was, yes, this can be taken deeper. When I work with people one-on-one, we get into things like secondary gain. Secondary gain is huge. And what secondary gain is when we're having a thought that we can't let go of, sometimes it's because that thought is helping us. And that's why it's called secondary gain, something that appears to be hurtful, but in reality, it's helpful. An example of secondary gain is, if I am broken, I am still hurting my partner. Maybe I want to punish my partner. Subconsciously, deep down inside, I don't want to heal because I want them to understand what a big darn deal this was. I want them to suffer just a little bit more, and I'm not done with them because I'm still angry. It's okay to feel that way. But when you identify, wow, I'm actually keeping myself hurt and obsessed to punish them, I don't think it's worth me hurting just to punish them. Maybe there's a different way of doing this, of acknowledging that. That's a secondary gain. Another secondary gain is for yourself. When I was earlier on in the affair recovery journey, I invested more in myself. I invested more time, more energy, more money, more resources towards me because I was so hurting, so broken. So I would invest more money. I would get more massages. I got a coach. I got a therapist. I invested in the relationship. We did a retreat. I invested money that I normally wouldn't have invested. I invested time in self-development where normally I'd be like, no, I just got to catch up on things. No, I've got to work. No, I've got to take care of things. I invested time, money, resources, energy into taking care of me. So if you heal too fast, it means you no longer have the excuse or the justification to invest time, money, energy in yourself. So sometimes there's this psychological belief, wow, I'm going to have to not pay for my coach and not pay for my massages if I'm healed. And I really enjoy the self-development and the self-awareness that I'm getting from working with a coach, and I'm really loving my massages. So therefore, I'm not going to heal too quickly so I can still keep seeing my coach, so I can still keep having massages. That's secondary gain. And so often we don't see that in ourselves. We need somebody else to help question us, point things out. And again, like I said, we can't do that just all in an hour and go through every single different thing. That's something that we would work on if you want to work together and we can start questioning it. There's a lot you can do yourself, but you can go further, faster, quicker with a coach challenging you directly one-on-one. So if you ever want that, reach out. Connect. Let's have a session. or a 6, and let's get you fixed up. So again, my deepest apologies for this whole Eventbrite snafu. It was so confusing and I still don't really know what happened. I hope you got a lot out of this. Reach out. I am here. I've been through it. I know what it's like, and I look forward to connecting.